Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to access a program through Microsoft Excel by using the shell command. The shell command basically looks for a exe.exe file within a directory and then loads it. But we're also going to write an error handler in case you haven't got that bit of software installed. Okay, so how do we go about this? First, we need to find whereabouts on the C drive in the program files folder the actual application is found. So I'm going to have a look in my x86 programs file folder, and I want to be able to load Microsoft Visual Studio 2010 from my machine. Obviously you'll have to navigate to where you could find the exe files. I think it's in the Common 7 IDE folder in. Yeah, that's correct. So once you've found the actual application folder, i.e. the IDE folder, you want to copy that whole directory. So if you right click, you can put copy address as text. So I go back to my project that I've started already. So you declare it as a normal sub, so public sub, and then I want my actual place where it's located now is the C program files x86 Microsoft Visual Studio 2010 Common 7 IDE. But after the IDE, I need to actually name what the program's called as well, which is this, the dev env. So I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna actually copy that. Copy the text from it. I can just go into it. That's it. Copy. And then I'm going to put that in my code window. Okay. And as you can see, if I run this sub now, it should bring Visual Studio up. And that's how you do it. It's as simple as that, really. You just need to find the directory where it's located. This will vary on machine to machine, but it's quite a useful thing because you can have a list of macros then. I use it at my workplace because I've got loads of different software applications that I've got to run, like SPSS and my ArcGIS applications, because we do a lot of mapping and statistics. So yeah, I use this command on my machine so I can access all those relevant programs. But the problem is, if you've not got this, it'll basically just say cannot find file. Well, I want to develop a custom handler. So for error handling, you can either go on error, resume next. That means if an error occurs, just try and load it again. So on the next, so it does a loop. But that's not the most efficient way to do it. I want this to terminate if there is a problem. So on error, go to problem 1 handler. You can name that whatever you want. So you can see, but with error handlers, after this you need to be able to exit the sub, because I'm going to use a message box, and if you don't do that, the message box will appear even if it loads successfully. So it is important that you put exit sub after this. So that's what we want to happen if it's successful. But if it's unsuccessful, we want a problem 1 handler, and you need to put a semicolon after it, and I want to put message box problem loading application Microsoft Visual Studio. Not many of you will have Visual Studio because you have to pay about 500 quid for it. VBA, which is a rip-off, but if you're developing a lot, then it's not. Because I also develop standalone compiled applications using VB.net. Okay, so title, I want to give it the error number actually. So error.number, and I'm going to put a concatenation string there so it gives you a space lock, as you can see, and error.description. If there is one, there's not going to be on my machine, and that exits sub again. And then after that's released, you probably could put like a message box from you, so it tells your Excel application that it's loaded correctly. loaded successfully. So this, I think this uses early binding, and it releases the processor once it's done. There's early and late binding, but I think late binding requires a bit more work. I'm not an expert, to be honest. Not with Excel anyway. So yeah, let's run this then. So what I'm going to do is put command button down on my, and I'm going to associate that macro we've just created using shell. And I'm going to edit text because I'm specifically, there is a directory string, so run Visual Studio. Okay. So I click my button. You just see the error, the message box came up in Excel saying it's loaded successfully because it knows that there's no problems. You see, loaded successfully, there's no problems there. It releases the processor and it's opened up Visual Studio. You can do this with absolutely any other program that you want. Let's do a second one, shall we? Let's put another box in there just so we can get the concept firmly grasped. So I'm going to do a new one this time. Actually, I'm not going to create another module. I use that public sub using shell 2 on error go to problem 1 handler, because it's in a different sub, so you can name it the same. You couldn't do that in, so let's find a string for another program then. What we're going to look for, let's have a look for what we're going to look for. We're going to look for we can load an Office app, Office 14. Let's load info path. Just make sure that that's the right app. Yeah, that's right. So that's the load Microsoft info path. So if you remember from previous, you copied that address up there as text, but then you also need the name of what the application is that you want to load, because that's only got up to the folder Office 14. So the folder I want is the application I want, sorry, is info path. I want it as a VBA normal focus. Okay. Message box again. Loaded successfully. Actually, I could put my prog. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my prog string. So dim my prog. Just had a bit of a light bulb flash over my head. So my prog equals, and then this is where you can put the string. C. Actually no, I could just put info path at the end, so that the name of info path, and you could have like my directory as well, so my dir equals, and then you can have everything up to the info path. So if you get what I'm doing, this is another way you can approach it. There's always more than one way to skin a cat, as you say in our trade. Yeah, so my dir, so I want another dimension variable. My dir and a string, because it's a string. So, and then you can put shell my prog and my dir. No, sorry, my dir, because you want the directory first. Sorry, and my prog. And then you want VB normal focus. Okay, loaded successfully. Exit sub problem 1 handler. Sorry, let's expand this down. problem 1 handler message box problem loading info path VB crit error dot none and dot error dot description exit sub. Yeah, loaded, and then I can put loaded successfully and my program, and I can put proper for one. Oh no, worksheet dot. What's the worksheet function? Application. Let's just expose the application dot worksheet function dot proper. We've got proper on there. Yeah, proper. And then my prog. So yeah. So let's do that one then. Let's do using shell 2. So it loaded info path. And then, as you can see, it's done it in proper case because we specified info path as uppercase. But what the proper function does is takes the first one and capitalizes it, but anything after the first character, it puts it into lowercase, i.e. proper case. So let's just show you that again. Info path loads, Excel loaded successfully info path. So that's another way you can approach it. I like to use these because it makes it a lot easier to then alter your directory string and your program string. So yeah, that's a good approach. If I put info path 1 here, this is going to show you how the error handler works if it doesn't load correctly. So let's do it. Problem loading info path 53 file not found. So that's your error number and that's your error dot description. So let me change it back so it works now. So you got what I did there. I basically made up a spurious program name so it wouldn't load correctly, but now it should. So I'm going to assign another button. So assign macro to there. It's using shell 2, and it's now we're going to edit the text. Run info path. Okay, so let's do both of them and then we'll just complete the exercise. So run Visual Studio. Yep, Kerry's my wife. And run info path. As you can see, you can do it absolutely anything. You could run Excel from Excel if you wanted to. I don't know why you'd have a reason for that, but you can run Word, you can put Access in there. Any program you can find that you want to run from Excel. I hope that's been handy. I really like that function. So yeah, I'll catch you next time, guys. See ya. GH.net production. Please subscribe to my YouTube videos. Thanks for watching.